Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. I'm Marcelo Vicencio. I'm an independent artist and producer, and today I'm going to be teaching about low-end drum EQ, specifically from 0 to 200 hertz. So, from 0 to 50 is the inaudible kind of region. 50 to 100 is rumbly, kind of earthy. That's how I would describe it. And then 100 to 200 is the punch region before it starts to getting to the meat, which 200 to 300 is the body. And I won't cover that today, but yeah, I just want to cover the low end. So as you all can see, I'm streaming. So let me show you all my project. Okay, bot moment. I'll share student. No, I don't wish to do that. Let me make sure. Okay, it's screen mirroring. Okay. So yeah, this is my song Risked It All. I wrote it for my grandmother. She passed away 2 years ago, and it's about her struggle with dementia. So as you can see, did a lot with it. It's a piano-based song. It kind of dominates, especially because in this specific song, I wanted the kick to be punchy, which is like the 100, 150 ish region. So let me just show you. I'll actually just solo the drums, and hopefully the metronome's not on. But so I'm gonna show you all the EQ region. So I'll stop it real quick. So if you notice, the transient is kind of coming through this region. This is like where the punch exists, and I sliced off the 50 hertz because you don't really hear it that well, anyways. And then I love to kind of use this as like a transition one. A lot of people will just slice it off and leave in the rumble, but I wanted more of that. I wanted the punch to come in more. So where the body starts to start around here, I kind of layered it. I did a little cuts in the middle, and then I kind of allow it to reside right here, which is where the kick punches through. Don't mean to be pun. Don't mean to have a pun there, but let me think. Oh yeah, so the adjustment that I was making throughout this past week, because I was debating whether to audio swap it to get more rumble in, because there's benefits to different ways to EQ it. So I'm gonna pull up the photo. Okay, so I changed the angle, I believe. Unless I didn't. Unless I okay. Please don't tell me I botted. I'm so confused. I swore I. Oh, that's so weird. I'm like so confused. I thought I made an adjustment. 22 1.2. Weird. I hope I didn't save it. I would be so mad. Oh well. I Interesting. Yeah, I was looking at this earlier, and I thought I made an adjustment, but that's weird. Okay, let me just explain what I'm trying to teach though. So I'm gonna like do a little bit more of a scoop to cut out more of the punch, so you can hear how the rumble sounds. So, and since it's the full drums, it kind of opens up the toms a little bit more. It gets more of the body, and the kick kind of sounds a little bit more, I guess, this way. versus. I'm big on like muffling, so the main reason I wanted to get rid of more of the low end was I wanted it to sound like if I put a muffler on it. And they might say online that yeah, you need to, get rid of more presence, but I completely disagree. If you're doing like the full drum EQ rather than just the individual kick, just it's the rumble region. That's like the muffling area. If not, it's going to like, it's going to stick out more if you did it on the kick, but yeah. Let me see. Okay, let me think what else I want to talk. Let me actually close the project out. I want to see if I accidentally saved it, which I'm praying I didn't because I tend to do ADHD mistakes, and this might be one of them. Yeah, my day's okay. This is my first lesson, so thank you for tuning in. Appreciate the love. Mm-mm. Okay, so moment of truth. Bro, what is on earth? Wrong one. It's photos. Where's photos? Oh yeah. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I swore I did something. I thought the reason I took this screenshot was because I made an edit. I really hope I didn't save it. I don't think I did, but that's so weird. Yeah, I'm so confused, but it is what it is. Okay. I'm just gonna teach. That's fine. It kind of makes me frustrated. The point of why I took this screenshot was to like I thought it was the original one that I did, but for whatever reason it's not acting like it is. And this might be it, but it's just frustrating. My apologies. I'm trying to figure out the initial adjustment that I made, and I want to see if I did it on the initial stream and I like made a mistake because I could have very well done that. I'm known for it, and I don't even think I did. Did I not pull it up? Oh, dude, that makes me so mad. I had one job. I had one job, really. That was it. And I'm like acting like I have dementia, and it's actually this is funny. This is literally what the song's about. Is about my grandma, you know, losing her memory to dementia and the fight that she had. So it's a little bit ironic, but yeah, I'm so blown. I'm so blown. I maybe I'll talk a little bit more about the high end. So maybe I'll just do the kick. I'm gonna solo the kick. So again, yeah. Notice how it's like muffled when you do the what do you call the summoning stack EQ for the drums. Don't listen to people online saying, "Oh, you need to cut out the boxy stuff." You need that. Like it's right there. You can hear the boxy area, and there's a little bit of the presence. Not too much, because you want the kick to just like. Well, this one in particular, it's like the heartbeat, so I didn't want it to be fighting with anything. So let me solo the bass. I'm gonna have to put an EQ on it because I don't know why it does this. It might have to do with what is it called? I think it's sidechain compression, so it like ducks. So yeah, you can see I have sidechain to the overheads because it doesn't let me do the kick probably if I wanted to. Yeah, sometimes you gotta make do, especially with fake drums. Usually you would just sidechain it to the kick, but since it's like you're combining a kick in and kick out as if there was a mic inside the drum and a mic outside, you kind of have to make do. So I do the overheads. Maybe not on every song, but on this one, and I'll show you the EQ for. So yeah, when you're doing fake drums, you wanna, I guess, get rid of as much like sharpness, high end presence, airy qualities, because like the crash and everything, once you have everything mixed, is like you're kind of diluting everything that's gonna sound, I guess, fake. I think the overhead EQ is the most important for getting rid of any aspects that just doesn't make it sound cohesive. So once you kind of do your characteristics for how you want your kick to be EQ'd, and I'll show you just what my kicks look like, but yeah, so this was just a random spike. I kind of wanted the presence of the in drum to, start to peak out, as well as like the boxiness, because when it's inside the drum, you're going to get all that. That's kind of like what it's imitating. That was my thought process for that EQ adjustment, was how do I get the presence to, I guess, cut through, and I got to stop using the same word, but yeah, it's I kind of use that as like as a point to, so those two aspects were drastic, not like the high end but the body. I wanted to just kind of like make a cut into where it's typically boxy, because like part of, if there's a mic inside the drum, it's gonna sound boxy. So that was like the thought process behind that. I know I'm supposed to be covering 0 to 200, but again, I don't know what happened to the picture. With the kick out, you typically want to get rid of more of the high end, which is what I did here. Don't really want an airy kick, because it just, it's gonna compete with. It's already gonna be the most dynamic aside from the snare, but if your overheads and your ride and your crash or whatever, like cutting through, you don't want your kick to, add to it. So yeah, typically get rid of any unnecessary high end. Always a good idea. Don't really have to do too much with the mid range, especially with a fake kick, because like it's fake. But with the real one, you would probably get rid of more body and boxy EQ region, which is like the 300 to 800 ish region. So yeah, let me see if anybody has questions because I'm just rambling. I don't even know, but it is what it is. Yeah, so disappointed. I I literally the whole point of the lesson was just that one picture, and I'm really disappointed that it's not coming up the way that I envisioned. Because I literally took the picture to like alternate between the two, and I thought that was what I was doing this morning, but for whatever reason, it's not acting like that's the case. And I don't think I saved it. I pray I didn't save it. I might have. I don't think I did though. It's weird. Um, Go back to photos. Where's photos? Let me look at it because that was the main point of the lesson, and I want to teach that effectively since that's probably gonna get clipped. The rest of it, I don't need this. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Keep doing the same thing. Okay, so this is the drums. 50, 2296.5, 189.11.2. All right, maybe I'll just teach you all about um, going up versus going down. So the higher you increase the number, the more drastic your slope's going to be. So if I did this, let me solo the drums. Emphasizing more of the punch, making it sleepier because it's coming in more around 100 hertz-ish area. Actually, I like it. Why not? And then I'll do the vice versa. So we'll decrease it. I'm going to be cutting out more of the punch then, and this is going to add more rumble. So like you'll hear it, it'll kind of sound more like boom versus like pa, like boom. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, it's what you're looking for. Again, you don't really need the 50 hertz, but nobody really talks about this area. It's like, oh yeah, just leave it open, but it adds for definition. If you have a song with like a low tom pattern or a floor pattern, that's what it's called. Yeah, it's good to kind of separate it so that the kick has its own definition, and then the toms are doing their own thing. And this song particularly, which I hope this was my original EQ adjustment, because again, like, yeah, just being a bot, but yeah. So the purpose of it was to get rid of it because I was very OCD about it. Like I didn't want my kick to be rumbly when you go do your different checks versus you're doing like stereo speakers, cars, AirPods, and iPhone for people that are listening on their phone just with their speaker. It's like you want to kind of look for those things. And that was my initial thought process, was like, I don't want it to be muddy. And since the bass is kind of like the heartbeat of the song, and for like the instrument, maybe not in this particular song, but I wanted the bass to be able to have its moment to shine. So there's the EQ. Yeah, so let me go over the bass. I'm getting a little bit ADHD right now, which the amount of times that will happen is unimaginable, but so yeah, that was the mixing process. This is what I'm going to teach. When you're EQing drums and bass, the ideal frequency for the kick is to rest between 80 to 150, I would say. You don't want anything below 50 hertz because you're not really going to hear it too well anyways. And 60 to 80 is important to shape so you get enough rumble. With the bass, you kind of want the body of it. So between 200 to 300, more closer to 200 because it could get a little bit boxy if you push more. But it's kind of important to shape the low end so that the kick is coming in around 100, 120, and then your bass is more closer to 200, 180, so that when, you know, the song's playing and you have your mix and you did your EQ, the kick is going to have its own area, and then the bass is going to have its part where when the transient's peaking, it'll sound good rather than everything's clashing. And the initial point of this lesson, which I wish it went the way I wanted it to, but was to show that the rumble is important to shaping the low toms and the kick, because if you cut too much rumble, you might not get as much kind of like meat, because that's kind of like the meat of the drums. And you need, if you cut too much, you're not gonna, I guess, hear the toms and the kick like as their own instruments. They're gonna sound like they're stacked on each other. And honestly, maybe I might even show you the original bounces, because maybe this is the issue. Is I'll just show you what the two bounces that I worked with. So let me do that actually. Okay. Ideally, I wanted to show with So yeah, I'll just talk a little bit of that. But if you listen close, that was the one where I added more rumble, so you can kind of hear the difference between when the kick hits and when the toms hit. See, yeah, you can hear it better, and that was like the big pro with that wasn't the one that got released. Plus, like, I wouldn't even be able to use that for those using DistroKid or anybody who does the audio swap feature. You you would have to have it so it's the exact length, and it's not the exact length. I bought it. I I messed up the balance because I didn't want to have to make an adjustment. I worked on my album for 3 years. Took me forever. Didn't want to have to make any adjustments. So yeah, but it was cool. That was like the lesson because it was always hard to hear. I guess the low end, and that's what I wanted to teach today. Was you know like the drums, even though yes, it can muddy the mix. It's like it's important to have some mud because it'll shape something that if you're using a fake drum set, it'll give it that definition that a real recording, I guess, wouldn't need. You'd just be able to. I don't know. It usually sounds better. Real drums always sound better, but so yeah, this is the original. You can hear it, that one, the drums or the tom and the kick kind of compete more. And again, that was the goal. I wanted the punch to be the most drastic part of the song because again, my grandma was a fighter her whole life, from growing up in New York to raising her kids, loving her grandkids, just being a inspiration to my faith and my family's. And that was the point. It's like when you're making songs, like it's always cool to add little details based off of real factors, which is like what EQ does, which that was the important part of the kick. And I recorded the vocals for the song actually on the day she died. It was the last time I played for her. I played for her the song on the guitar, which is a little bit different. But yeah, that was the inspiration. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I record the background vocals, but the lead vocals, like literally after I finished playing, I recorded it, and then she died that night. So yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, they have different characteristics. Like in adding the rumble, it on the main summoning stack EQ for the drums, like it increases the mud for the hi hat, so you can it kind of competes more because it's like more of the hi hat has more of like presence, harshness. So when you do that, it kind of clashes more with the vocal, and it's subjective. Like they both kind of have their pros and cons, and I've done that a lot with a couple of these. Um, but yeah, just be careful if you're doing if you're adding more low end. Also know that it's gonna affect so that it might make the vocals a little bit less clear than if you cut more of it. So, but yeah, I think it's an underrated aspect of mixing is understanding the low end, because I think it's the hardest to hear. Like I'm like I've been producing for 3 years, and it's just hearing the low end is just hard. Like it yeah, it's the most difficult part. The easiest I would say to master is like probably the 300 to 500. I think body and box is like the ears, that, and maybe 4 to 7K, like the sibilance and harshness, they just kind of stick out more. The presence you kind of have to mess with just because it's like it's the most prominent factor, and sometimes like even though you'll hear it, like how it adjusts, it's like it takes your ears time to realize, like, okay, why am I increasing presence? Am I doing this just so that it really cuts through, or am I doing this just because I don't know what I'm doing? So know what you're doing. um. Oh, my bad. Thank you, Finn. Hello. Sorry, I was rambling. Didn't check the box, but thank you for tuning in. I have a lot of love for music. I might not know everything, but and I don't. I definitely don't know everything. But I enjoy rambling. It's one of my favorite pastimes, especially when it's about something that I did and I barely did anything in my music career. I only have an album and an EP, so it's cool to talk about it and also not going to get copyrighted strikes. So it's cool to talk about music that I can talk about, you know? So, um, yeah, so, what else was I going to mention? Oh, yeah, so maybe I'll play it through the high end part. Just. You're an angel, you're an angel, you're an angel in my heart, angel, angel in the chamber of my heart. You're an angel, you're an angel, you're an angel in my heart, angel. Okay, so part of the reason I went with I got rid of the low end. And again, I really like the way the low end sounds. It's not that I don't like either of these mixes because they're both good mixes, but I wanted the bass to really stick out because it's a great bass. It might be my favorite bass line that I've written, and if I added the rumble, you'll still hear the bass and it'll still sound good, but the crash, the when it hits, it'll be more of a drum transition. Like the drum will move the song more. And in reality, I wanted everything to work together. That's usually when I mix something. It's like, yes, the drum should be the ceiling of your song, but you should have all your instrument. Like when you mix something, you should want everything to have their kind of portion of the song. Unless it's hidden, which I might even show on one of my other tracks where I do stuff like that, which it has its time and its place. But yeah, with this specific track, it was like, I wanted the drums to sound like kind of quiet, especially the kick. Like I wanted it to sound like my grandma was like leaving this world when I'm hitting the kick, not like I'm just bang bang bang, like she was dying that day, like it's not funny, but like that's when you make music, that's part of what I'm teaching is like you want those characteristics to stick out. And I love music like that, and I would show other music if I'd have to look into it, but yeah, I might show you all Third Time's a Charm actually, because since I'm talking about the kick, I might as well talk about one that has more, I would say, body to it. And I'm going to open this one up real quick before I go back. Let me, just because I want to see. This is what I originally did, right? Yeah. More punch. Got rid of it. You're an angel. You're an angel. You're an angel. I guess that's what I did. I swore this morning like it was different, and I'm just tweaking, but let me teach something else, because oh yeah, I was gonna show you all Third Time's a Charm, which is about a girl that, yeah, don't chase girls that don't have feelings for you. If they never have feelings for you, they're not going to have feelings for you. You know, like, that's in the song. I say, but you don't, I'm insane. My third time's a charm. And it never changed. This girl never had feelings for me. And the sad truth was, she didn't. It was somebody that wanted attention. And that was the sad truth. But again, I can't judge. Matthew 7:2 says, "For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." Can't do that. So, but this was the unconditional love that I chose to give, because we used to sing in the car together. We did, and one of the first songs that played was "Introducing Me," and I kind of used those same chords and implemented this in kind of like a Wonderwall type way. And you'll see once it loads, but it's taking 8 years, so I apologize for that. And could it load any slower? Could it load any slower? Like, any day now, Logic. Yeah. I'm so mad. I'm so mad, man. Like, I just want to show you all what I did, cuz like this kick drum was another learning experience. Like, Ristadol, I learned about low end. This one I learned about body and boxy kicks, cuz this one's a very body boxy kick around like the 300, 400. And you'll hear it cuz I wanted it to sound like my inner child, like a school playground. If it doesn't take 8 years to load, you know? Oh my gosh. Logic. I might have to restart the stream because it's acting so botted. As you can tell, I don't have a lot of words in my vocabulary. Botteds. Okay, here we go. We'll try this one though. Come on, please. Please, 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 please. I want to teach. This one's probably my favorite. Like, it's probably my favorite song, Just because, like, it scarred me. It scarred me to love this girl. Because she never wanted to reciprocate any love back. It was like, hey, can I be treated like a real person? No, you can't. That's why I wrote this song. And as you can see, I found Jesus afterwards, because it's like she was completely on a pedestal, and it's like, hey, I just want an ounce of unconditional love. Like, I'm going to Giant, get a little like slit of turkey, and it's like, nope, can't do this. Like, no, Marcelo. Never. It's not gonna happen. I'm like, all right. I don't mean to ramble about the story about the song. I just want to teach about EQ, and I'm so mad, and I might have to restart the stream. Yeah, I'm gonna have to restart the stream. My apologies if you're tuning in. This is frustrating. I've had 2 technical difficulties where on a day where I'm ready to just talk and yap, and yeah, I hope the low end stuff was beneficial though, and because it shakes the house. It will always, and it's good stuff to know. Yeah, I'll be back in a bit. I'm gonna see what's wrong with my computer because nothing's loading, and I don't want to deal with issues. So I'll see you all in a bit.